What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Standing Guillotine podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about UFC London. There's a few fights that we wanted to highlight there, and then we're going to move on to discussing UFC 291, which many people have already said has started to look like a card of the year candidate. But I'm sure that, I have some opinions on that, so we'll dig into that some more later. But I do want to focus on.
It's my card of the year.
You think it's going to be card of the year?
Oh yeah, dude.
All right.
It's too good to not be.
All right, so I guess we're gonna have a disagreement, but we'll save that for later. For
What do you think
now,
it's gonna be? Well, you have another one.
so not really. We'll get to it. I don't want to spoil it yet. All right, so first off, I want to talk about the 4 fights I wanted to highlight off UFC London. The first one is actually the very first fight that was there. That's Rafael Filo and Daniel Barres. If you don't know Rafael Filo, he's not a household name. He fought last year, or the last UFC London, against Mokaev, and that was the savage knee bar that we thought Mokaev was going to tap to the knee bar.
Yep.
So that was Rafael Filo. Obviously, this time he was able to finish the submission, so that's pretty good for him. Like, he's had 2 very, very strong showings. Weirdly, both in London. Maybe they can get him like a home crowd and put him on a card in Brazil or something. But he's got to be pretty happy with that, being able to get the finish. Like, especially because that was a first round finish. He showed that he's got all the skills, and then finishes with an arm triangle, which I think is a much better submission attempt than a knee bar. Like, somebody was saying that, like, the knee bar, it's like stuff with the leg for the most part is like pain. It's not necessarily like crazy danger, but we did see Mokaev like tore ligaments in his knee.
Well, that was deep, bro.
Right, like that was an insane knee bar, absolutely gnarly. It's like, if we look at his 2 fights in the UFC, the first one going up against somebody who's now in the top 15 in that division.
Because if I remember correctly, that knee bar was like at the very end of round 3, right?
It was at the end of round 2, and then in round 3, Mokaev submitted him.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Or actually, no, you're right. It was at the end of round 3. Mokaev got out of it and then submitted him very quickly, like right before the end. And like the last minute, Mokaev got the submission, but for like 2.5 minutes, he was
honestly, I think Filo just gassed out.
Yeah, I mean, like, what can you do? You crank on a guy's knee, you fuck up his knee ligaments, and you still don't get the finish? That's insane.
Well, that's what happened to fucking Molly McCann.
Yeah, I mean, she also rolled into the fucking armbar.
She's going down.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pathetic performance, if I'm going to be honest. Not a fight that I want to highlight, for sure. That was one of those ones where I was just like, this is not it. I was also a little upset that Shauna Bannon lost. I think that was a really bad first fight to give her. Like, Bruna Brazil is a really good fighter who's like...
It was a decision. It wasn't like she got fucking knocked out.
Right, but I guess Bruna Brazil was coming off of a loss, so, like, I kind of get why. I just don't think that was a good first fight, but I still am happy that I called Shauna Bannon being in the UFC. But I feel like a lot of the female fighters, they lose the first time, and then, like, their debuts are tough, but then they can bounce back really well. So, you know.
You think she gets another fight?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They signed her. It's a multi-fight contract from the promotion she was in. I just think it's the IFC. So, she's definitely getting at least one more. I'll probably give her a run of 3. I don't know how many fights, but it did say multi-fight. So, it's got to be at least 2. The next 3 fights that I want to talk about, though, these were given, the next one's fight of the night, and then 2 performance bonuses afterwards. So the fight of the night, that was the Danny Roberts Johnny Parsons fight, and that was the Johnny Parsons debut. One thing I have to say is, like, Johnny Parsons out here doing it for the short kings everywhere. 5'9" against 6'1", is 5-inch reach disadvantage, and it just straight up didn't matter.
They knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah, like...
They came out swanging, bro.
Right. I mean, so what I thought was really interesting. So Johnny Parsons did exactly what you need to do against taller opponents.
Wait, he was rattled at one point. I thought Roberts was going to win.
So Roberts had really good boxing, but Parsons had the way better kicks. And, like, I don't know. For me, what I noticed in the fight when I was watching it was, like, Roberts, whenever they came into close exchanges, Parsons was getting the better of the close exchanges because the check hooks that he was throwing. Like, Parsons, his entire background is Muay Thai, right? So he's throwing these long kicks. He's throwing windmill kicks. He's able to keep Roberts pretty much out of his effective striking range. Roberts is at the end of his striking range. But whenever they got into a pocket, Parsons was getting the better exchanges in the close. And then in round 2, as soon as he got the tie clinch the first time, I knew that it was going to be hard for Roberts to recover. Because, like, there were a few shots that I don't think they highlighted really well. But one of the ones that really impressed me is Parsons had, like, some absolutely vicious knees where, like, he's got his hands behind the guy's head in perfect tie clinch, pulling the head into the knee as he comes up. It's like, at that point, the height almost becomes a disadvantage. Like, you're getting pulled down into the blow coming up.
Right.
And, like, Parsons just completely neutralized Roberts in round 2. I think you're right that I think Roberts won round 1. I think his boxing was a little bit cleaner. And I feel like...
Well, it pieced him up, bro.
Yeah, like, he got some good punches in. He wobbled him a couple times, but it wasn't anything where, like, I don't think... He was getting good individual punches, but he wasn't landing in bunches.
Right.
And I think that's what you would need to put Parsons away. I will say, though, that he did have a really good strategy of using body work. So, like, he was really tagging out because the Muay Thai stance, your hands are up high. So your ribs and everything is completely open. So Roberts being able to piece up the body was a really smart move. His boxing was great, but if he wants to do better, he needs to start including kicks. Because, like, he was effectively held outside of his punching range because of the kicks of Parsons. But Roberts' legs are longer. He should be throwing leg kicks. I think, though, he did it at the beginning of the fight, but Parsons checked them all. And I think that kind of, like, okay, that hurts like a bitch. I don't want to do that again.
Right.
So you get into this weird situation of, like, the longer fighter isn't actually longer because one's throwing punches, one's throwing kicks, and legs are always going to be longer than arms unless you're talking like a foot of height difference. Right. Then we have potentially that the reach going to, you know, the Gumby-like character. But I do think that's a great debut for Parsons. I think that was probably one of the better displays of Muay Thai that we've seen in UFC lately. I think, like, everyone uses kickboxing style striking, but Parsons using elbows and really effectively using the tie clinch was the biggest differential there. The kicks...
Oh, definitely. I remember that. Now that you're talking about it, I remember he was dangerous in that clinch.
Yeah, like, that's the thing that I don't think... Like, I always thought that was weird. Like, fighters go for that, like, underhook, overhook approach. And I get it, because, like, if you're going for a tie clinch and someone's a wrestler, they can take you down really easily. Roberts, I don't know much about him as a fighter, but, like, he attempted one takedown, and it just didn't look good. He does have 5 submission victories, so I don't think he's a slouch, but he made the decision to stand and fight with a guy whose entire background is standing and fighting.
Right.
Like that, I don't know. He probably should have tried to take it to the ground earlier, but his one takedown attempt was not very effective. He shot a single leg, and then Parsons, he bounced to the cage and then turned around, put him in a tie clinch, and it was like, oh, well, shit. And then it wasn't a huge situation where it was, like, going to be crazy damage, but what a lot of people don't realize is, and the first time he dropped Roberts, too.
I'm looking at round by round, dude.
Yeah.
You know what it looks like? To me, personally? It looks like Roberts gassed out.
Because of how many punches he threw?
Right, because he had 25 total strikes in the round 1, and then significant strikes he had 25 total strikes is 25, and then significant strikes 25, compared to 20 and 20, and he hit 42% of the strikes that he threw, and then round 2 it just goes like this.
Yeah, so on UFC's page it shows 25 strikes.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
And then 19. But like if you look at Parsons threw 20 strikes round 1 and then 49.
Right. No. Then to 19, I'm saying he gassed out. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying that Roberts gassed out.
I mean, I think with the knockdowns too, like
Two knockdowns.
the
Yeah,
first
now,
knockdown was on
rattle,
like
bro.
a quick check hook in right to the jaw, dropped him. I've watched a lot of Muay Thai fights, and that's what happens is like you don't when guys get knocked down in Muay Thai, you don't even really see the punch because it doesn't look like it's just something about the way that they're able to generate that force with the hips because of the high stance. They're able to like create this quick turn, and you don't even see the hands. Like Bisping was saying on the call, like he didn't even see that first punch on the knockdown. They didn't know what knocked Roberts down, and then they didn't catch it. But the first Thai clinch that they came out of, he took an elbow straight across the forehead.
Yeah.
And like you don't because it didn't open a cut, it didn't look crazy. But like an elbow to the forehead is not something like he was wobbled after that. Like it didn't put him down. The damage wasn't immediate.
That's like
But
you're in a
that's huge.
submarine and like a torpedo. You're in a ship
Mm-hmm.
and a submarine sends a torpedo at you and it just grazes the fucking bow, bro.
Yep. It doesn't seem like a lot, but then that little crack.
Yeah, but then everyone's all fucked. They're like, oh my god, what's going on? We're fucked.
But I think for me, like that was a great fight. Glad that one fight of the night because like Roberts didn't have a bad performance at all.
No.
What did you think about the stoppage though?
Of that fight?
Yeah, like so close to the end of the round. Because there was literally like this says 4:57, but the clock on our on the viewer display, it was at like 1 second.
I don't remember.
So like Parsons knocks him down, right? And then I think it was the combo that set him down, not the follow up. Yeah. So again, it was one of those things we had to. Yeah, the replay angle's not great though because it's from maybe if they show the alternate angle because the one that you see it only looks like one big punch. It's actually he hits him 5 times on the way down, and then 1 time on the ground, and then Roberts just kind of grabs the leg. So he was upset because he's gonna argue that that's like effective defending. But I think like if you get pieced up 6 times with no response and you're clearly rocked.
Oh, let's watch it. Here we go. Knockout victory. Oh, his spit's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, like the first punch is bad enough, but I think it's the follow-ups that get me. Like when I first saw it, I only saw the initial reaction, right? I saw the first punch, and I was like, wow, that was really fast because he only landed 1 big shot on the ground, and the guy clearly wasn't out. Like he was grabbing a leg, making an attempt to defend. It's the fact that he ate 5 more shots on the way down that I didn't notice, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
They both he looks gassed.
Yeah.
Gassed. He's like whiffing.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely destroyed in that
He's
fight.
grabbing by the neck. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, he's...
But, like, if you look at it, it's...
2 seconds.
Yeah, like 2 seconds. I saw 1 second. The UFC website says it was 3 seconds. But either way, we're talking, like...
Well, it all meant... I think it all depends on when he goes...
Yeah, so...
Oh.
I just think that's crazy right at the end of the round.
Oh, he was going for a takedown.
Yeah, like he grabs the leg. But is that effective defending?
And he gets out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he's out, bro. So I'm watching it. He goes for the takedown, right? He's like tired as shit.
Yeah.
Rocks Parsons, goes for the takedown. Parsons just like skips out of the way. And like instead of him like standing up, he was like looked like he was like resting his body on him.
Yeah.
And then he just moves out of the way. Parsons moves out of the way, and he's still stumbling, comes up with the knee.
Yeah, that knee was brutal, dude.
Then he stands up and hits him again. And then that's when he was like, oh. And his arms behind, like he's like arms behind his body.
Yeah.
Like if you could see this fucking.
I mean, I just watched it before we hopped on. Like, yeah,
His
I think
face up
he
that.
looks in a bad place, but then he
But he
does grab
covers.
that leg and he does cover. Yeah, so that's where it's tricky. Is
I wonder if like that was just
like a reflex, just going for the leg to try and
well,
keep
no, I
himself
wonder.
safe.
Well, do you think that like the ref knows how much time's left?
I mean, he's heard the claps, bare minimum, right? The claps at 10 seconds. So like he knows there's 10 seconds left. He's already stepping in to like do the break when that combo
So here's the
started.
thing, right? So here's the thing. I think that we talk about refs not stepping in soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
I just maybe he like was like let the fight another day because like you take that much damage and then you go into another round. Like what is the likelihood of him then getting fucking pieced up?
Again at the beginning of the round and making it even
Yeah.
worse. Yeah.
Right.
No, I
So
definitely agree.
I'm assuming that is what it was because it didn't look great. Like
No.
now you have like a minute or a minute and a half, two I think in between rounds
Yeah.
to recover. So maybe you recover, but probably not if you've already taken that much brain damage. We've
Yeah, I
seen it
mean,
before.
he ate. So there was the last combo was a total of 6 successive shots without any defense.
Right.
But even before that, he may have gotten one punch in to break the combo, but we're still talking about
I don't think he did.
Parsons, or maybe it was the takedown that kind of interrupted it. But Parsons at that
two,
point is scoring, I think, close to 15 strikes
three,
unanswered.
4. That was 4. I saw. 1 knee, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5, 6. He took, and one of those was a knee right to the face.
Right. Like that's not that's not a spot you want to be in.
And he's already gassed out, bro. 'Cause
Yeah,
he was-
and I think even
I'm, like,
before
watching
that
it.
he was taking shots.
I'm watching it right now, dude. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. He was I think if the goal of the referee is to the goal of the referee is to protect the fighter.
Well, isn't that what it is?
Yeah, and that is the goal. And like I do like that they said that on the cast as they were like it's not the ref's job to know or like see how much time is left in the fight and like try and get the fighter to the end of the round. It's the ref's job to protect the fighter no matter how much time is in the round.
Right. He's gonna go on there after taking that fucking knee. The knee was the one. The knee was the what set him down.
Yeah. The knee was huge.
You could see it, like you could see him. You went like this.
Yeah, his body, he was not ready. But again,
He
that was one of those good Thai clinches, right? He grabs the head and pulls the body into, or was it body or head? It was head, right? He pulls the head into the knee.
Oh, let me go back.
I think he gets the hands up behind the neck and then pulls the head into the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well, no, he was down. He was like on the way leaning down. He was like.
he was leaning down and he just
He like slips out of it. Roberts like puts his left arm gets thrown behind his back. And his right arm's just not protecting his face. And he gets spun around by the way that he moved. And his knee just comes up and connects with his fucking face.
Yeah, that's not a spot you want to be in as a fighter, quite frankly.
No. And he looks gassed.
Yeah, I do think that, but like that's kind of crazy to me.
Well, Bisping, I don't see what happened before, but Bisping goes, yeah, he got spun into it. Because Bisping goes, Roberts looks hurt.
Yeah, so a punch had landed, and I think that's what, like...
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He, like, almost like he took his head and was, like, spun him. Like, he saw Roberts was going this way, and Parsons, like, steps to the right. When he steps to the right, he takes his hand and, like, pushes his head this way.
Yeah, okay, so he did get the hand up on the head, and then he, like, guides him into the knee.
Right to the knee.
Yeah.
Right to the right knee.
I mean, that's just good fundamental Muay Thai. Like, and that's what I'm saying, like...
Is that what Muay Thai, like, yeah. I mean, yeah.
You want to... It's not exactly, like, the cleanest clinch, but if you can bring your opponent into your strikes...
Right.
You're going to do more effective damage. Yeah, so, like, guiding your opponents... Because even still, like... A
Dude,
big part of Muay
Thai's
Thai...
crazy.
What's up?
Muay Thai's crazy.
Yeah, I love Muay Thai. I think, honestly, one championship, like, it's bigger than the UFC globally. It's just not bigger than the UFC here. And, like, one championship to me is Very, very entertaining fights. There's a little bit of controversy with it right now, though, with one of their champs testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs, but we'll see what happens.
I think they all should run against drugs.
I mean, like, everyone's
If you want to have CTE, bro, you want to be a veggie.
I think they should just honestly just cop to the fact that it's basically the steroid era in baseball and just admit that it's more entertaining when people are roided out.
When you were younger, did you ever listen to Daniel Tosh?
Yeah. In like middle school.
Remember, yeah, right. But do you ever remember he had a couple? It was like one of them was like, well, we should just like turn the clock like 14 hours ahead or whatever. It's like when you're coming out of the bar at 2:00 in the morning, it's like sunny, so you can see like a pterodactyl bring. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, and then he goes something about football, and he was like, I think that everyone should be able to take steroids.
Yeah. Just like let's stop pretending that. Like I would honestly, two of the funniest things I think for me for sports would be like having regular people compete in the Olympics just to like really put the scale of top athleticism against like the average human being, and then having
well, they did that though. It was pro versus remember those shows they had?
Yeah, like pros versus Joes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, do that on an Olympic level. Like, let me see what like some dude coming off his couch, what the 40 or not the 40 time, but like the 100-meter dash he's gonna run is, and then just like have an actual athlete who trains for it, and just see like, because one of the things I think gets lost is like it doesn't look as special when everyone is an elite athlete. It takes like a truly ridiculous feat like Michael Phelps wiping the floor with every other professional athlete to like appear crazy to us. So like put it up against a normal person.
But we do have crazy athletes. Like look at Usain Bolt.
Right. Like that was incredible and that like stands out. But now that we don't have kind of like, I mean, how many Olympic athletes can you name off the top of your head?
None.
Right. So, like, there was the Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps phase. I feel like we're missing that. And because we don't have, that all-time greats.
Swimming team was
What's up?
Crazy. That 2008 Olympic swimming team was nuts.
Yeah. That, like, we don't have that right now. So what we need to do is just, like, a reminder that, hey, these athletes aren't superhuman. But compared to the average person, they're gonna appear superhuman. But like, isn't that crazy that like you could have Phelps against another superhuman, and he just makes them look regular, and you just get so accustomed to like that level of dominance that you just don't even think about it.
Well, I guess so, but you can see that in everyday life.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we need to roid everybody up and see like what the ultimate human we could be. It's like let Connor fight now, dude. let roided Connor into the cage. Is he right now?
I'm not committing myself to that.
But I would love to see Connor just, I don't know. He looks like a grandpa right now. It's kind of weird. The changes that the roids have done to him are not great.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What, you're refusing to admit that he roids?
There's no roids.
Yeah, no steroids, all natty.
Natty.
Yeah, natty status is intact.
He's about as natural as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right, absolutely. Just this two natty gods. All right, so now that we've officially determined that Connor is definitely juicing, we're now going to jump.
For the record, I don't agree with that. And he's juicing as much as
Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa.
No, me. I was gonna say also the bicyclist.
Lance Armstrong.
He didn't juice though. That to me pisses me off that he got in trouble for that. Blood doping.
Yeah.
So you're using your own fucking blood, bro.
Yeah.
It's like you're using your own blood.
I mean, hey.
If my blood is a performance enhancing drug, like
not with all the shit you put in your bloodstream, dude.
Well, yeah, Four Loko and unnamed beer, but.
But
if I was
if you were a peak athlete,
yeah, You know who? Like I want like Barry Sanders blood, like pumping in me.
Yeah, like after one of his like crazy runs, just like inject that straight into me, dude.
Right, dude.
I'd run through a wall.
Dude, that man ripped his hit like oh, that has to be. Let's go before we go into Paul Craig. What do you think the most gruesome injury you can have is?
Um, Honestly, for me, it's stuff with like arms. Arms really freaks me out.
Really?
Yeah, like when someone's like arm snaps at the elbow, that fucks with me heavy.
Yeah, well, it's like well, that's not it's like a dislocation.
No, I mean like when your arm is bent backwards and your elbow is fucked up, dude. Your joint isn't supposed to do that.
Oh yeah, that yeah.
Yeah,
What's the worst injury you've had?
that fucks me up. I can't with that.
What's the worst injury you've had?
Worst injury I've had was tearing ACL, MCL, and PCL in my left knee all at the same time.
On knee. Oh.
Yeah. So like I got my
Picking up your
knee
kid.
stuck in like we were playing flag football and my cleat got stuck in the mud. And so like my body turned but my knee didn't. So it just went pop 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 and then I was like the weird thing is that it honestly wasn't like the pain was enormous all at once and then it wasn't. It was just like it felt weird. Like I couldn't put weight on it. I couldn't really walk. I was like, there is something wrong with my knee. But like even now, it still
Did you
affects
heard
me.
the pop?
Yeah, and I was like,
Through your body though, right? Like you don't hear it out loud. You hear it like
right,
internally.
yeah.
Dude, it's a craziest sound.
It's like when your knee cracks, but like you know how like you audibly hear your knee creaking, like when it reaches that certain point, it just kind of like clicks.
Yeah.
But it does that internally, and it's like, oh god, it I don't know, it just that went, and then I got helped to the sideline by my teammates, and then I like sat on a box and tried to like
college?
yeah, I tried to like swing my knee, like you know like the reflex drill, and like the muscles in my quad would fire, but it wasn't doing anything to the joint, and I was like, okay, we have a problem here. I mean, I also like the whole left side of my body's jacked up. My left shoulder, my left knee, and my left foot. So when I played hockey for my college, I broke my foot in both directions.
Oh, it's
So
snap in half.
I stopped one slap shot with the inside of my foot, and it did like a hairline fracture across to like the halfway point. And then I was trying to get off the ice, but it like caromed off my skate and went back to the guy who teed up a second shot, and so I turned the outside of my foot towards it to like protect the inside of my foot, and then it hairline fractured the other side.
Oh man.
So like just like a fracture all the way through. Like it wasn't like completely broken, like my foot was broken in half.
So it's fractured in two places.
Yeah, fractured in two places that kind of met in the middle.
Oh.
Getting it out of my molded skate was one of the most painful things I've ever had to do, because like the foot was fine and like it hurt and I could feel like the searing pain up my leg, but then as soon as I like pulled it out of the boot, the pressure that the skate was keeping on, I should have kept the skate on, thrown my skate guard on, hopped in the car and gone to the hospital at that point.
And then had them take it off. Well, they would have cut it off.
Yeah, I mean, like, whatever, dude. Cut my skate off. I'll buy new skates. Like, yeah, that's like $500 out of pocket, but it sucked having my... Like, I took my foot out and it just, like, blew up. It looked like, you know, like elephantitis?
Mm.
Yeah, it was like that with my foot, dude. It was bad. It's like it was like my foot had an allergic reaction.
What would you say that it sounded like?
The break?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, over the sounds of everything on the ice, like, a fracture is not going to make a huge sound.
Well,
it's not like the one thing that...
But internally, though. Like, so, for example,
Yeah.
I was in 8th grade. We were doing a tackling drill in football. And this kid, same kid who tore my quad, by the way, this kid tackled me and he, like, slipped and fell on my feet. So like if you can imagine, he's planted on my feet,
Yeah.
and my body went forward.
And so you flexed your foot over the weight.
Well, my toes were planted,
Oh.
and my body went forward,
Yeah.
and I broke like two of my metacarpals in my foot, and I didn't break them, I fractured them. And what it sounded like was when you take wet twigs
Yeah.
and you snap them, and they don't break all the way. It goes. Crack, crack, crack,
It's like that stringy sound. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, grossest sound I've ever heard.
Luckily, like my stuff didn't there. I didn't have a lot of sounds, but like honestly, the like to tie us back to UFC. Do you remember Jacare Souza's last fight?
No.
Like a guy, his arm just snaps, and like you could hear it audibly crack. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. It was just that was not it. If you get a chance, pull that up later if you want to haunt yourself.
Probably not.
It's gonna be a nah from me, dog.
But I did get my quad pop. That was.
And you were like, that's enough for me.
Well, no,
But,
I thought it was like a Charlie horse. I thought like I like loosened up my muscle. I didn't know.
yeah.
Until that.
Like I've had pretty nasty like I had both shoulders dislocated one morning. I woke up in the summer and my parents weren't home. I was like, I think it was between my sophomore. It was either between my freshman and sophomore year, or my sophomore and junior year in high school. I think it was sophomore or junior year. I woke up and both my shoulders were out of their socket, and like I can put one back in, but I can't put two back in. So I literally like just
was. What are you doing, the Harlem Shake, dude?
I think what happened was I was sleeping on a like a futon at that point, and I think one of my arms got trapped in my sleep while I was thrashing around in my sleep. So like I'm pretty sure I had one of my seizures in my sleep and then dislocated the shoulders in the seizure, and then that's why I didn't wake up from the pain. So like I woke up naturally way later, and then my dad gets home from work at like 3:00, and so he comes over.
Entered into this room.
Yeah, I thought I just saw a head. That's all right. My cat interrupted a few weeks ago. It's only fair that a dog interrupts now. Freaking Obi, dude.
There's too many. I wouldn't mind him in the room. There's just like too many things that he can just like.
Right, he's just gonna find something to chew on, and it's gonna.
Eat. Yeah. And this is probably gonna be the most expensive thing, and then.
Right, he'll find a way just to spite you. But so like my dad didn't get home until like 3:30 in the afternoon, so I like went back to sleep, and my dad gets home.
Once you pop one in, can you pop the other one in?
Yeah, so like he helped me get up, and at this point I had so many repeat shoulder injuries that like we just didn't go to the hospital every time. One, because we couldn't afford to, because it's fucking stupid, but like two, my trainer at the school's trainer was just like, here's how you pop your shoulder back in, which in retrospect, terrible idea, because I probably did more damage to the joint popping it back in on my own.
Who's your head of trainer?
Yeah, we had a real athletic trainer.
I didn't know a trainer until I started coaching, and then we got Bernie.
Well, that's what happens when you have like a D1 school and a D5 and a like separate fucking.
I'm gonna tell you now, though, it doesn't matter if you're D1, D5. An injury is an injury, bro.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, we had trainers.
Yeah.
And like personnel on hand, and every school we played had trainers. So like, no matter what event you were playing, there was a trainer at. Except for the tennis team didn't have a trainer. I was the trainer for the tennis team, because I'm like, hey guys, I have so many injuries, I can tape everyone up because the trainers taught me how to. Because I basically live in there. Like I'd get excused for gym, and what they'd do is they'd have me go down to the trainer during gym, and they'd just have me do my like my PT at the school. Which, like, is pretty cool that my high school offered that. And then even when I was in college and I had injuries come up again, I had, like, free PT year round. We actually had like a full physical therapy place for yeah, like our students had it was like a place for our students to like practice, but we also had actual professionals there too. So like our whole kinesiology department worked in like the students and the professors all worked in the PT, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, so I got
I had PT once when I tore my quad.
Yeah, I had like my parents paid for PT one time for my my knees, and because I had like a mini growth spurt where I grew like 4 inches in a month, and we didn't have the money to get a longer mattress.
What was that?
What's up?
What was that?
What, 4 inches in a month?
Yeah, growing, yeah.
Wait, what?
What's growing like?
What's growing like? I don't know. I mean, yeah. I've had like I said a month, but it was probably like 4 months realistically. It was like I was growing like an inch a month, I think is what was happening.
Yeah.
But I outgrew the length of my bed because I still had one of those little kid beds because it was like, yeah, you could fit on, like I could honestly probably drop my toddler's mattress off at your house and you'd be fine, dude.
No, dude, like I thought about buying a race car bed just because, like,
yeah, that would, no joke, probably work for you.
Yeah, like my old bed, dude. I fucking cry. You remember those? I had a race car bed when I was younger, and I miss it. It was red, blue, yellow. Just fucking race car, bro.
You had the best dreams when you had that race car bed.
Well, I was gonna win the Indy 500.
Right, that's when the days were bright.
Yeah.
I mean, you still could have a future in being a horse jockey.
I'm too fat now.
Well, all right, lose the weight, and then you can be a horse jockey.
Maybe. I thought about it. Yeah, I'm like, I'm a perfect horse jockey. Like polo. Like, I'm playing like sports, bro. Like.
Well, polo, you need to be tall.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh, polo players are very tall.
Oh, well, horse jockey then, yeah.
Yeah, so like, let's see.
Yeah, but no, I'm like an awkward height, dude. I'm like too tall. I would be like the tallest jockey.
You'd be the tallest jockey. I mean, you could play like soccer because you're only a little smaller than Messi.
No.
Yeah, Messi's not very tall at all, dude.
How tall is Messi? Right now, let's look. I bet you he's like 4 inches taller than I am.
I think he's 5'4", dude.
There's no way.
I think so.
Well then, why did I play the wrong sport? Why did I love?
He's listed as 5'7". I don't actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well then, you want to play that game? Diego Maradona is 5'5".
Well, I'm not 5'5".
Okay.
I was at one point. I was probably the shortest goalie in Massachusetts. I probably like in Massachusetts, hockey goalie. Just
you mean shortest adult goalie in Massachusetts?
No, I mean high school. I would say high school goalie, yeah. High school goalie.
Oh, okay.
2.5, dude.
He was under 5'7" when he made his debut. When he was discovered and went to like clubs, he was
discovered at like 14, dude.
Younger than that. He wasn't even 5 feet.
Right. Yeah, you hit puberty. What? You ever heard of it?
No. I heard of it when I was 9, dude. My life was misery. I had my first voice crack in 4th grade.
Oh my god.
It was one of the funniest things. Like, and then I was one of the taller kids in class, and then everyone, like, in middle school too, and then everyone had growth spurts going into high school.
What's that like?
And I just didn't.
What's that like being the tallest kid in class?
Well, I was until I moved to a different school. Like, so what was really funny is like, if in the neighborhood I grew up in, everyone was like poor. So, I should say relatively poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that neighborhood, like food scarcity impacts height. That's a scientific fact.
Yeah, you're a big milk guy, right? You're like milk, like all the kids drink milk.
Yeah, like my family were big on that, but because milk was also one of the products that you would get with like food stamps and stuff like that. So like that's why like you have to drink this because this is probably one of the only nutritious things you're getting. Like I ate a lot of pasta growing up. I ate a lot of
Doritos aren't nutritious.
What's up?
I actually couldn't eat Doritos when I was a kid because I'm allergic to Red Dye 40.
Yep. I don't give my son Doritos. That's why he doesn't bother me for Doritos. That's the only chip that he won't bother me like to get some out of the bag. So I intentionally buy Doritos to be an asshole because it's like I'm not sharing anything. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Red F40 is bad.
Yeah, Red 40 no bueno. But like I was pretty tall, and I remember 5th grade I got irritated because there was a girl who moved from like Albania to the US and was in my class, and she was way taller than me.
Albania is crazy.
And
my friend growing up was from Romania.
I said Albania.
Not the same different. Not the same thing.
Okay, I was like, you do know those are not the same country.
No,
right?
I do. Yeah. Isn't Albania in Africa?
No.
No.
No, dude.
Oh, it's in. Yeah. No. I'm also all right.
You're playing Edward 40 hands over there.
Cut that.
I'm not cutting that. In fact, I am making that a clip and putting that on every social media I can find. I am sending that to our bosses as we speak. Isn't Albania in Africa, dude? Maybe that's where Drickus Duplessis from, dude. He's actually Albanian. Well, maybe what we should do is we should honestly ask Israel Adesanya, just like throw countries at him and ask him if people from these countries are Africans.
Hey, can you put this on a map?
No, not even that. Just be like, okay, so are these people Africans? And just play that game and just throw random countries out there. Like, hit him with Mexico. See what he says.
Oh, dude. I mean, I feel like
you got to get real controversial with it. Hit him with a Cape Verde and see what happens.
Yeah, it's in Greece.
Yeah, it's in the Balkans. But
Romania is at the top of the Balkans. It's like the same.
Yeah, they're both in the Balkans region, but they're not like the same country.
Right. I was not thinking of. I was thinking something different.
Well, like, so pretty much 5th grade, I was one of the only kids that was like above 5'2", 5'3", and then didn't grow much through middle school. Didn't grow much in high school. I got to like 5'6" by the time I graduated.
I was thinking of Algeria. So so everyone, So just so everyone knows,
Algeria, Albania, not the same places.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? ALIA. We're talking about like the middle letters.
I mean, what really are words? They're just made up sounds that we recognize, dude.
Right. Yeah.
It's not even real. But yeah, I didn't grow mostly like until college. My wife was taller than me when we started dating, and now I'm like,
welcome to my life, dude.
Yeah, but now I'm like a head taller than my wife.
Nice. Are you?
Yeah.
Because like I'm not trying to height shame anybody, but like you're not the pinnacle of.
No, I'm exactly average height. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you 5'8"?
Oh, I'm 5'9".
Oh. Just 5'9" average height.
And for U.S. males, I think so. It'll probably go up within generations, and then I'll be short again. But for now, I can just say, hey, I'm average.
Well, my mom's like 4'11", 5. Maybe.
Yeah. So 5'9" for men and 5'4" for women.
Yeah. So like I've got.
So what you're saying is you should transition. You are drinking Bud Light, dude.
No, I'm not. I didn't. No, I'm not. If you look at it.
That was a suspiciously blue bottle, my guy. Oh, you're sorry. You're drinking Bulich. Because you got rid of the T and the D.
I didn't. Listen.
Wait. Whoa, you got rid of the D, dude. You're transitioning. You got rid of the D and the T. That is confirmed you are transitioning right now.
All right, so I don't condone anything he's saying.
This is like the Conor McGregor steroid debacle all over again.
Don't cancel me.
You heard it here first, folks. Ryan is now going to be Rianne.
You do that. Well, hey. Listen,
you got rid of the D and got rid of the T,
mine's a unisexual name.
That is true. Anyway, speaking of Paul Craig. Dude, I'm gonna tag this video. Ryan gets rid of the D and the T and begins his transition. Nope. That's gonna literally be the tag of the video, dude.
Not me.
Anyway, Paul Craig.
Ooh.
Speaking of transitions, making the transition from
Israel Adesanya, real guy, real good.
Making the transition from light heavyweight
podcast
to middleweight.
Middleweight. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a weight gain. How's that for everybody?
Well, I mean, maybe we should be taking tips from Paul Craig, because I think both of us could stand to lose 20 pounds and look that good.
Look that good, dude.
He was absolutely monstrous. Like, there was one moment where, in this fight, Andre Muniz had him in a triangle choke, and Paul Craig was just like, "Wait a minute, I'm stronger than you." Like, it's like he remembered, like, "Oh, I've carried heavier guys than you around the ring," and he just like stood up, and then you could see him take like a big deep breath, and like every single one of his abs was completely cut. Absolutely insane. He looks so much better than he did at light heavy. And then, like, his strength plays at middleweight. I think he's going to be a huge problem. Because, like, Andre Muniz is no slouch to
He's 14. He's number 14.
Yeah, he's absolutely no slouch on the ground. He's got 15 submission wins. So he clamped in on a triangle, and Paul Craig just said, "Nah, I'm good on that, bro." He stood up, and then... What I think is neat is, like, the last fight Paul Craig had was with Johnny Walker. And that was the one where, like, he grabbed Johnny Walker's leg and shot for the takedown, and Johnny Walker was like, "Dude, what?" And just started hammer fisting his face, and that just ended it.
Well, that's Paul Craig's go-to. Like, he does that shit.
Right. But, like, he just man-moded.
He just goes to Paul Craig, just absolutely...
But, like, it's great. Like, that's an ugly loss, right? Where someone just, like, literally just laughs at your takedown attempt and smashes your face in.
Well, no, the video I jumped into, dude, was just, like, Paul Craig, like, just mauling.
Yeah, and that's, he, like, after getting mauled and, like,
Paul
grabbed...
Craig overpowers Andre Muniz. That's like
yeah, the elbows that he dropped from the top position to end it were grotesque. Dude. He was dropping absolute elbows, dude. It was unreal.
Elbows from Allen.
Well, like, seeing him take that approach of, like, okay, this guy has me in a submission attempt, but it's not deep enough that I'm in trouble.
Was that the same? Was it the fight? Oh yeah, he got him in a.
Yeah, he had him in a triangle deep, and then almost gets him in the arm bar, and he just, like, with the other hand, he's just like lunch boxes to the face, and then that weakens the grip enough that he's able to just, like, step out of it.
This is fucking...
Like, I think he's going to be a problem in middleweight.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, like, if you can cut down 20 pounds and not lose your strength, that's insane. Because, like, we've talked about a 10-pound cut, right, for people being challenging. The man dropped 20 pounds and has looked rejuvenated. Like, that's a good spot for him to be in. I think that if we look at the middleweight rankings, realistically, I don't think he gets, like, a top 5 shot. I think anyone from 8 to 11 would be a good matchup. I'd actually like to see Brendan Allen and Paul Craig. That'd be a good fight. Or Jack Hermanson, Roman Dolidze, Derek Brunson. Anyone in that range.
Oh, I mean, like, wait a minute, like. So this is how weird it is. Like, on the UFC rankings.
Yeah, they're way fucked up, dude.
Wait, but and Muniz unranked, and then he goes to 14. Paul Craig is 9, tied with Ryan Spann.
Yeah, in light heavy, which is weird.
Yeah, right. But he beats the fucking guy, the number 14 guy, and down. Like, I think doesn't he get a top 15 spot?
Well, so, like, he's top 10 in lightweight, but then he's not ranked in middleweight. That's the issue, is, like, because they haven't effectively ranked him.
Oh, you said Brendan Allen? Oh, yeah, you said Brendan Allen.
Yeah, Brendan Allen would be 11. So like the 8 to 11 slot, I think is a good fight.
Honestly, dude, no, I think you like Strickland.
Well, Strickland's already got a fight scheduled.
What, is it Vittori?
No, Strickland's fighting.
No, Paul Craig Vittori.
No. Strickland. I don't know. Maybe Strickland doesn't have a fight now. That might be a good one.
That's a fight, bro.
But Strickland also just won his last fight pretty convincingly. So like, are you gonna have him fight down? That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, but he's not gonna go. But he's not. The belt's gonna be tied up between Duplessis and Adesanya until.
Well, Duplessis got hurt. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I did. So like Duplessis, I think is Duplessis injury.
That's stupid.
Yeah. So
that's the fight everyone wants. So
right.
Who is he?
I think at that point, I think Strickland might legitimately get. That's what the angle has been, is that people think that Strickland. That was the fight I was thinking of. Strickland might fight Adesanya. Because like if you look at this, it's not going to be Pereira. It's not going to be Whitaker.
Hear me out. Ready?
Yeah.
Paul Craig. Cosman.
That could be interesting.
Right?
I like...
Someone coming up, someone going down.
Yeah. And also just like the wrestling background. Although Khamzat's supposed to fight Paulo Costa in Abu Dhabi, allegedly. I don't think that's going to happen because Paulo Costa's going to drop out like he does with everything else.
Right. And then you have Paul Craig.
But there's certainly some good scenarios, and like after that fight, I'm pretty comfortable putting him into that mix.
What?
Like after Paul Craig's last fight, I'm pretty comfortable putting him into the mix. Like he looked
top 5.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that like a lot of those guys have lost.
Paul Costa, dude.
It's like imagine putting up against like you mentioned Vittori.
Dude, he would honestly, I'm gonna tell you now, he would manhandle Vittori because Vittori's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, I mean, Vittori's big though. Like I legitimately think Vittori.
Like Paul Craig is big. Paul Craig was in light heavyweight. You don't see like how would Marvin Vittori do going up to heavyweight now, light heavyweight now?
That's true. I mean, I do think like it's really hard to gauge because how many times have we seen light heavyweights go down?
You never see that. You see people go up. You don't see people go down.
But like the fact that he didn't look tired, he looked rejuvenated. He's an older fighter.
You're fighting the same fight, dude, and like I think that's the move. I think they don't do it because the camp leading up, the weight cut is hard on your body.
Yeah.
So I don't know when was Paul Craig's last fight?
Not that long ago. That was against Johnny Walker. We watched that fight. That was January.
What I'm assuming is he had in his mind that when he did the fight and his weight was already cut, he was like, all right, I'm gonna try to maintain this weight and then cut down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know how big is the difference between middleweight and
it's 20.
20 pounds?
Yeah, he literally went down 20 pounds in 7 months. And like his strength wasn't sapped. That's what's incredible to me because like he was already cut for 205.
So maybe that's his natural weight.
That's what I'm thinking is like maybe this is where he should have been fighting the whole time. I think his power also plays better too because if you like he's not putting out he's not punching out the light heavyweights. I mean he did knock out Jamal Hill, but that's not typically his fight style, right? But when he's fighting people 20 pounds lighter than him, he rocked Muniz a few times. That was like, okay, all right, that power plays. And like the fact that he could be in a deep submission attempt and just stand up is ridiculous. Like we've heard that meme forever, right? Like how do you even get like taken down to the ground, dude? Just stand up. Like Paul Craig just did it. It's like, okay, I'll stand up.
He just picked him up?
Yeah. He was like in the triangle choke and he just like grabbed the wrist and then stood up and then held the one arm, and then started free swinging on the guy's face with the other.
Well, if we didn't slam him, he just like stood
No,
up.
he didn't slam him. He just put him in a position where he could just punch him. And he kind of like, what he did was the way that he angled Muniz underneath him, it released some of the tension on the choke, which allowed him to take a huge breath in.
Because the big choke is you're leaning back. So if you have nothing to lean back on,
right. Yeah. So like as soon as he like took away the leverage, that's when he took that big breath, and I was like, holy crap, he's cut. And then he just started raining down blows.
Nuts.
Like I legitimately think he's a big problem, which is exciting because middleweight needs more good fighters.
Is he gonna get caught though?
I mean, I think that his biggest problem, right, is he did improve in his striking for this fight. But if he wants to be seriously at the top of the division is just so stacked with strikers that he might run into a problem there unless he can effectively mix in some solid striking in order to close that gap. And, like, give him the opportunities for takedowns. Because, like, even as good as he looks, again...
Top dog's out. Or they have him fight Whitaker.
Yeah, I could see... Like, if we want to get real crazy, Vettori or Whitaker, not bad. I just think it's kind of... I do think it's hard to jump over Brendan Allen and Roman Dolidze right now. Like, those are still names that they've been building up in the division.
Yeah, but Dolidze, he's gonna want to fight.
Yeah, he'll probably want to fight sooner rather than later.
He's gonna want to fight like Cannonier.
Well, Cannonier just won, and he's coming, and Dolidze's coming off a loss, so I think he would fight. Oh no, Cannonier just lost, right? No, he beat Vettori.
Yeah, beat Vettori. So that's what I'm saying. Vettori and
I think Vettori has to fight down.
Right, so Vettori and.
But I think Vettori Dolidze makes more sense. But we'll see. But like the fact that now we're excited about a fighter in middleweight.
Right, we weren't. Adesanya.
Yeah, because we talked about that division being. Don't get me
wrong. I love Adesanya, a good fighter. But the Adesanya Pereira was the big
Right, but now the Pereira's in light heavyweight.
We're gonna see soon.
Yeah, like light heavyweight's now super exciting. Like a lot of stuff going on in light heavyweight. But before we get to light heavyweight, let's talk last fight of UFC London. This is obviously the big return, the big news about UFC London is obviously Tom Aspinall coming back and looking absolutely dominant. Like just walked through Marcin Tybura. Like it was nothing.
Not ready for John Jones yet, but
what's up?
Not ready for John Jones yet, but maybe.
No, but I mean, so like that's the thing though is what do you do now with heavyweight, right? So it's gonna be John Stipe, right? Once that's done, presumably both guys retire. That's what they've talked about.
Maybe.
So then you're left with Sergey Pavlovich, Cyril Gane, Curtis Blades.
I think Aspinall Gane would be a good fight.
You think Gane Pavlovich?
No, I would say Aspinall Gane or Aspinall. I think Aspinall
Pavlovich would be the play that I'd want to see.
Yeah, you gotta get Aspinall in there. You gotta.
Because like Cyril Gane had the interim belt already. I don't love the idea of him going for the vacated belt.
Right.
So quickly, right?
So now, so it says okay, or you have Aspinall Blades.
You could do that. I think stylistically, those two match up really well. They're both more on that grappler style.
It's tied Tuiva. Is that right?
Tai Tuivasa.
Tuivasa? Oh, it's an S.
It's one of those ones you look at it and like if you don't know the name. Oh, but Blades are. Oh, yeah. I mean a rematch of Blades Aspinall because that was when Aspinall got injured. I think that's the fight to make.
Right.
I like that one actually. Give them a chance, and like I think their styles really do.
It all depends on how that works out because right now they're both. It says that Aspinall went down 1 and Blades went down 1, so they both have Blades at 5. So it's like they're like 4 and 5. They're like.
Yeah, the rankings are.
This is just a good fight. Like it's not gonna. I don't think that would differentiate like a position.
Yeah.
And we'll see how Derek Lewis does on Saturday, but.
Dude, his balls are gonna be hot. I'm telling you that right now.
You think so? You think he's gonna fucking?
Well, I mean, and this is where we're gonna get into the disagreement, right? So, like, I think on paper this is the card of the year, but I think we're gonna see.
Oh, but he's fighting fucking Delima, dude.
Yeah, it's a terrible fight for him.
Fucking work. The guy's 40 years old.
Yeah, and all he wants to do is grab a guy and lay and pray, dude. Like, Delima might as well just convert to Islam and grow a chin strap.
Great fight for Lewis.
There are great fights here.
Derek Lewis is plus 155. I'm putting 100 right now on him.
That's madness.
Dude.
Derek Lewis is going to gas in round 1. You're forgetting they're fighting at altitude. Derek Lewis gasses in regular fights. We're talking Salt Lake City, dude. He's going to gas 35 seconds into round 1.
He's 40 years old. You don't think he prepares for that?
No, he hasn't. He's literally gone out and said that he hasn't prepared for it. He's like, yeah, I haven't trained at altitude, but I trained a little bit longer. What the fuck is that, dude? That's nothing.
No, that's Derek Lewis.
Dude, his balls will be hot, dude.
When he wins.
Sometimes. So, like, obviously looking at this card, if you look at the fights on here, I mean, every single fight, there's a fighter that I like. Most of the fights, there's 2 fighters that I like. So this is going to be, on paper, easily the card of the year. I just think, like, I'm thinking back to, did you watch the last UFC event at Salt Lake City?
What card was it?
I'm looking it up now, but all I remember from it was that it was, like, very underwhelming. Because the fighters all gassed. So let me see.
This is a very big name. Like this is a very big name. Kind of like.
Oh no, we watched this one.
Yeah.
This was Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards 2.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah,
Vittori.
yeah. This was, or maybe we didn't watch this one. This one was a while ago. Hold on.
Well, I watched the one. Oh, yeah, I did.
It was last June.
Yeah, I did. I was at yeah. Come was on Leon Edwards. Oh.
No, I definitely watched this. Yeah.
I know I did. Remember, because it. Yes, we watched it.
So like, oh yeah, because the Romanov fight was terrible. I remember this. Yeah.
This is gonna be the fight of the year, dude. And if it isn't, then they need to like reassess their. Like,
Well,
you're gonna Derek Lewis on a prelim, bro. Like,
right. I mean, if you look at the card, just like, all right, I love Poirier, I love Gaethje. That's gonna be a rumble. But interestingly enough, so like Gaethje's already been there training in elevation. Poirier has said that he's
someone's getting knocked out.
I think it's more than likely that there's a knockout because they're gonna gas. And then you have.
Poirier live though? Where are they fighting? I forget.
What are they fighting?
You said elevation.
Yeah, Salt Lake City.
Oh, Utah?
Yeah.
There's an elevation.
Yeah. It's
That's
not
lovely.
mile high, but let's see. It's pretty damn close. So Denver is literally a mile high. Salt Lake City is 4,265 feet above sea level.
Where's Boston?
Boston's like below sea level.
Is it? Where, like, New Orleans?
It's 46 feet.
That's why I can't.
And there are parts in Boston that are like way low. That's why whenever I go anywhere,
Is that why you flood? Is that why somebody flooded?
well, yeah, that's why we get floods. But I'm like, when I go, I remember when I moved out, even when I moved out to Ohio, it's like when I was in Cincinnati, it's not very high up, but it took me a little bit to adjust to the.
No, I know. When I go to New Hampshire, my ears pop.
Yeah, and New Hampshire's not like Cincinnati's 482.
Even like going out to like West because I went to Westfield,
Mhm.
my ears are pop because you go through the mountains.
Yep. So like that's where, like, that sounds silly, but like when you spend being low, so like Dustin Poirier, I'm glad you brought up Louisiana. That's where he trains out of.
Yeah.
So, like, when you think of that, that's
now I see what you're saying.
huge. Yeah. That's a
huge
massive
right
difference.
good
It's
for
not,
the well hey on that point good for the Saints for doing so well for all those years. Huh?
yeah. I mean, like, if you think, hey, when you think of all the games in Denver and like Denver having such a like when Denver was good,
Yeah,
with Manning, like they just have such a home field advantage because the elevation. Like you really have to factor it. Mexico City too is really sneaky. People don't realize the
no, I
elevation
yeah,
for Mexico City. But like when those things like the Patriots when they played in Mexico City looked like
which
absolute
is
shit. Because
weird.
Mexico
Because
City's even higher.
Mexico City was built in the middle of a lake. That's why I don't understand. Like, it's weird to me because Mexico City is built in the middle of a lake.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you can have lakes up in the mountains, dude.
Yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah, like, I mean, we're.
Well, I would assume that's where lakes would be. Really.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to
cooling
try,
of the water coming from the mountains.
yeah, if I were to try and like do any physical activity in Denver without acclimating, I would be screwed. Like even
That's it. One day,
like
we'll test it. We'll fly out there one day.
I did
I've never been to Denver. One of our friends just went to Denver. He said he loved it. I would love to go to Denver.
yeah, that's one of the I'd love to see the mountains. I just like honestly I would wear an altitude mask before going to help train my lungs.
Actually, my all-time one place I want to go to though in America is Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Lake Tahoe would be fucking.
I have a lot of places that I want to go. I haven't gone far enough west is my issue. So I gotta start.
You can't go too far west because you might.
Might end up in Japan.
No,
I might go so far west I end up east.
Yeah, something like that.
But with like but really like I don't think
I'm not going to like LA or Colorado. So,
yeah, I mean I still want to go out to California just to see some stuff. Like I want to go to San Francisco and see the Golden Gate Bridge.
Why? I don't. What's it? Say poop on the ground? Like I can go to Boston and say poop on the ground, bro.
Right. I mean any city you go to has that. Yeah. I used to work with homeless people in Boston.
There actually isn't that much poop in Boston. There's like no poop. I don't think I've ever seen poop
that you see.
The human poop.
Yeah.
Listen, I spent the night with homeless people in Boston.
Do you not use the subways? You've not seen defecation?
No, that's pee, dude.
If you haven't seen shit on a
subway, I have probably myself
have contributed some urine to the subway.
Pee to the subway. Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely have. That's not even in question, dude.
Dude, not now, but when I was younger.
Coming back from UFC 292, we will be contributing some pee to the Boston subway
I might pee, yeah. I might pee.
It's not even a might, dude.
Oh, definitely got to pee.
I mean, I might honestly have trouble breathing with the elevation at 292 because we're going to be so far all the way up in the fucking nosebleeds. I'm just fucking with you.
Want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So I bought a couple years ago. I bought Bruins tickets because my grandfather always used to bring me to Bruins games. I wanted to return the favor, so I bought Bruins tickets. Obviously, I'm not buying Bruins tickets that are like fucking. They're not low
ice
seat.
level. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm like 23, so I bought Bruins tickets. I brought 4 of them. Me and my buddy Dave, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna bring my grandparents. Watching Joni walk up my grand, I was like, what's wrong with Joni? My grandfather was like, the height.
Dude, I'm telling you, anything above sea level is dangerous for Boston people. Even if it's 10 feet above sea level.
It's not that high, dude. It's like it's a nice view. Have you ever like I went to? You want to talk about height, dude? In a stadium like that, go to Capital One Arena in DC.
I've never been there. I've walked past it, but I've never actually been in it.
Yeah. So I went. Obviously, you on the same trip that I did.
Yeah.
The year before, I went on my own trip because I had never been to DC before, and it just happened. It just so happened that it was the year that the Capitals won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So I have like a towel from that year. Kind of cool. But it was a game. It was a good game. It was against actually the Blue Jackets. Like overtime. Like I think it was like almost like I think it was overtime. I don't think double overtime, but it was like crazy game. I had like 2 shirts on. I was switching shirts like an asshole. But those seats, dude, you're at, like they had 4 row, like 4. Like you were 3. Like Boston ends at 310. They had like 410, bro. Like there, you can go up there, and it's just straight down.
Can you even see the players at that point, or are you just watching the jumbo?
No, you can see them, and you know what the greatest part is, dude? You know how like in Boston and like Fenway they have like people like hot dogs and shit.
Yeah,
they had beer guys going up there.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah, it was
saves you the trip.
What the fuck? It was like you had a beer guy. You have to leave your seat.
The only thing that saves me at Red Sox games when I'm in the bleachers is like the only reason I don't get worse is because the walk down. As soon as that walk down starts being dangerous for me to go get more beers, that's when I'm like, okay, that's my limit. But if I was in my seat the whole time and there was a guy coming to me, I'm not like my brain's not gonna process the shutoff point. My brain's just gonna be like, oh yeah, 2 more, dude, let's go.
What's a shutoff?
Yeah, the shutoff point is when I got so messed up at the Red Sox Yankees game that I went to a couple years back. I took the tee back, but I'm sitting down at Malden Center, and I look at my phone, and I'm like, oh, what's the distance to home? And I saw it was like 2 was the first number. I couldn't see the rest of it. All I could see was like 1. I was like, hey, this is 2 miles, dude. I'll walk 2 miles. It was 2.9 miles.
That's 3 miles, bro.
And I was pretty fucked up.
Where you live?
What?
Where you living?
Up at the apartment. So like I literally walked from Malden Center all the way.
You were I am now?
Yeah. So
you
like
from Malden Station there?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's a fucking troop.
That's an absolute hike, and I tried to get an Uber, and like nothing was around it too.
2 in the morning? Where'd you go after?
No, we didn't go after. It was an extra innings game, and with a rain delay.
Oh my god!
So like the rain delay happened before the 7th inning stretch, so they didn't cut us off.
I'm sleeping at the
At that, I honestly should have just slept in the seat. But like, so I was already soaked through because we stood out in the rain.
Like, who are you with?
A bunch of my axe throwing buddies.
Yeah.
And so we were done. We were real bad. It was vodka lemonades, double fisting vodka lemonades for like 7 innings and a rain delay. That's not.
They're sneaky.
Yeah, they sneak up on you, dude.
You had the right tender, bro.
And we pre-gamed. Oh, and one of the guys that I went with used to work at Fenway, so he knew the bartender, so she hooked us up. It was literally like there was vodka, it was like ice, and then they vodka up to the top, and then like a splash, like literally a spritz of lemonade for color, so she wouldn't get fired.
Dude.
So like nobody would question it was if I lit a lighter over it, the whole fucking drink was going out. It was bad. Like, the first sip was, like, absolute... Like, it was like drinking glass the first sip because it was rough going down. And then after that, it was smooth sailing.
What are you going to do for the first one, dude?
Yeah, you just power through the first, and then you get to, like, 8. And then you're like, oh, this was a bad decision.
No, it isn't.
And then you get a rain delay. But I also had pre-game beforehand.
The rain delay fucked you.
Yeah, the rain delay is what screwed me over. So I was already tired. And then my buddy was like, hey, make sure you text me when you get back because I want to make sure that you don't die. And he's like, dude, it's 2 in the morning. Where the fuck are you? I'm like, I literally just got in my apartment. I had to pee so bad the entire time.
Did you walk? How'd you get back? Did you walk?
Yeah, so like I took the train to Malden Center and then walked the 3 miles. And then I almost literally
that's not close.
Where's what?
It's not close.
No.
It's not. It isn't. It
it,
isn't close.
it took me, and like because I didn't know where I was going, because I just moved to the area too, so like I didn't really
Oh,
know anything,
oh, dude.
and was like, oh, this isn't too bad. Like I can walk 2 miles, but it's not even like 2 miles in a straight line. Like you have to like make
No,
turns up and down streets. So
no,
like
you have.
I went down wrong
There's not like an
streets.
easy way. Like I've lived here my whole life. From Malden Station to get to here, there's like not even an easy way.
No, it's not convenient in any way,
It's
shape, or
not.
form.
It's the most inconvenient.
Like it's like no buses were running. So we were past the final bus by far. It was just a
Oh
disaster.
yeah, you're at 2 o'clock in the morning, do you?
Yeah. And then uh
You
I
can see some
feel,
cool things though at 2 in the morning in Malden Station,
and you'll see some wild things.
dude.
That's where you see the human feces. That's probably why you've never been walking home from Malden Center at fucking 2 in the morning, dude.
No, I have. No.
Yeah, but you were so drunk you didn't see the shit.
I walked home one time from Hugh O'Neill's to my the high school basically
Yeah,
in bare feet.
that's a terrible decision.
My feet burned for like a week.
Where did your shoes go?
No, I had them in my hand. I was wearing my brother's Jordans, and they tore up my the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
the whole I was with a buddy. This buddy, very unique.
Mhm.
We ended up at like this random man's apartment.
That's the start of a good story.
Yeah,
Meeting at a random man's apartment.
and yeah, this random dude's apartment. Definitely more like I didn't like. I was young, right? So I thought I was gonna die. 21
Naturally.
years old, and this guy was more like this is the type of guy you would see at like a Grateful Dead concert.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't a crowd I was used to.
You were stereotyping the hippies, man. The hippie, if he hangs out at the Grateful Dead, he's not gonna harm you, dude. He might try and sleep with you, but he's not gonna harm you.
Yeah, well, right. I wasn't. I've been in more dangerous situations. I was more worried about like he wanted me more than you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It was a weird situation. His wife was really nice though. She made sandwiches.
Yeah, you just ran into some elder hippies, dude. They're an odd crowd.
They
but
weren't
they're
like
not.
very elder though. They were like he was probably like 28.
Oh, okay. So it's like the old soul hippie, like the wannabe elder hippie.
Yeah, it was like yeah. It was definitely a weird experience. This kid has moved on to different places now, but still, it was like one of the weirdest. And I was like, I gotta leave. Like we gotta leave. Like I had to leave. So you can say I'm leaving.
I do not feel safe.
In the Green Street.
It's like the SpongeBob meme. I'm in danger.
I thought, yeah, I was like, this might be it. And I've been in a lot of situations where like I thought that maybe this was it. That was my first, for a fact.
Fair enough. But anyway, back to
Yeah, we're gonna change.
UFC.
This is what makes it alive.
This is what happens when you play Edward 40 Hands when we record.
Okay,
We've been doing this for like 3 hours, dude.
It's not
Not
3
really.
hours.
It's only 2.
Is it?
Yeah, we're up to like 2 hours.
Listen,
Uh,
I think my life is here. I love talking on the internet.
but going down the list of fights, right? So I love Poirier, I love Gaethje, I love Blachowicz, I love Pereira. Stephen Thompson, Michel Pereira is a very underrated fight. Don't know why more. There's so many good fights that one's not being talked about.
What I don't get is the Ferguson Bobby Green fight being the number 2 fight. That should be like the number 1 fight out of the prelims.
That one, it's not in the prelims.
No, this should be the first. Like coming out of the prelims. That should be
Yeah.
the first. Like Michael Chiesa and Kevin Holland
Should be above that.
Wow,
I think honestly though, it's based on draw, not necessarily on form.
Oh, the name.
Tony Ferguson is still a huge draw. I was looking at
Michael Ferguson might be a young Tony Ferguson.
I mean, Tony Ferguson said he hasn't even hit his prime yet, dude. So I don't know.
I've watched his fights, dude. He is past.
Watching his warm up
He beat me up.
versus what it used to be is one of the single most depressing experiences that I will ever have. This is one of the fights where I don't want to watch because I love Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson's prime was when he should have fought Khabib, but he broke his foot.
Yeah. I mean, I love Tony Ferguson, and the one nice thing I'll say is, like, if he's gonna fight anyone, Bobby Green isn't a disrespectful fighter.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, Bobby Green's not gonna go out there and try and end Tony Ferguson's life.
Maybe.
He'll probably KO him.
What here's something disrespectful to Tony Ferguson though. Looking at the fight, Ferguson's a plus 285.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because he's lost either 5 or 6 in a row.
Yo, his chin is done.
Yeah, he's cooked.
Chandler broke his chin, dude. That fucking front kick.
Did he KO Cerrone, or did he lose to Cerrone?
Ooh, Ferguson?
Yeah.
The last fight he had was against Chandler.
I know. So, no, his last fight was Diaz.
Was it?
Yeah, he got submitted by Diaz in round 4.
So
I called round 4 KO, but it was round 4 submission. We watched that one.
So he beat. Okay. So before he got knocked out by Chandler, he beat Dariush.
No, Dariush won.
Oh yeah, so he's lost actually. Okay.
And then Oliveira, then Gaethje.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So, like,
I think against Cerrone.
I think he beat Cerrone, but I'm not sure.
Was that after?
End of the round?
No, was it at KO?
Yeah. Yeah, he won by KO.
Oh, that was after he got Cerrone goes down though.
Yeah. So, like, that's not a quality win.
So he's 1, 2, 3, 5. He lost 5 in a row.
And, like,
against top-notch guys.
Yeah. I mean, we're going back to 2018 for his last quality win.
We're going
against Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
Like, that's a quality win. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but that wasn't too.
That was 2018, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not looking good for our boy. But, like, I love him. I'll always watch his fights, but it's just one of those things where I really don't want to. Like, he's not, as much as we talked about, like, Robbie Lawler went out the right way.
Yeah, he's not.
The other end of this is you get Tony Ferguson type situations. You also saw the same thing with who was the kid from The Ultimate Fighter? Really young guy, fought way too long. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? He won season 1.
Oh, Ferguson. Forrest Griffin.
No, wasn't Ultimate Fighter season 1. It was 2 different weight classes, right?
Well, Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin.
Yeah, it was Diego Sanchez.
Ah.
Yeah, he won the middleweight tournament and won, not the light heavyweight.
So, I mean, Bobby Green hasn't won a fight since 2021. He knocked out Alaquinta.
Iaquinta.
Yeah. Sorry. And then he lost to Green, and then he lost to Makhachev.
I mean, he looked really good against Gordon, though. Before, like, that one was a could not continue.
Right. Oh, because of what he comes off?
Yeah, well, no, he won in 2022, dude. He beat Hawk Prost. And in 2022.
Who?
Green.
Who didn't?
It says he won by unanimous decision. February 12th, 2022.
Yeah.
Then lost to Makhachev, in a fight that he didn't belong in.
Right.
Then lost to Drew Dober, and then the could not continue versus Gordon. But, like, I don't know. Bobby Green's a good fighter. If you haven't seen the gif of the Tony Ferguson warm-up changing over the years and, like, how limited his side-to-side lateral movement is and, like...
You do crazy shit.
It's so painful to watch. But, like, even, like, So that one's probably the one fight like I'm not looking forward to watching, to be honest. But I'll still watch because I love Tony, and I'm gonna root for Tony no matter what, until Tony finally decides to hang it up.
He's never gonna. He's a CT for.
He's not gonna make the decision. Someone else is gonna make that decision for him, which is unfortunate.
And then even the one woman's fight is Myrna Maverick.
But yeah, even going down like Michael Chiesa, Kevin Holland, that's a great fight. Great fight. The featured prelim Gabriel Bonfim, Trevin Giles, great fight. I like both of those fighters. I think that heavyweight fight is going to be terrible. Full stop.
Just because of
the altitude and just the way that Derek Lewis fights. And like he has not looked good in a while. So like this is not it for me. His last few fights have been ugly. Ugly.
Yeah, he's lost the last 3.
Yeah, and then one win, then another loss before that. So like in his last 5, he's 1-4. Not ideal.
He beat Olenek, which was that one that was my balls were hot.
Yeah, he beat Dawkins.
No, it wasn't. It was was it round 2 when he beat him? That was the end of round 3.
But like Dawkins is now not even in the division. Dawkins is now a light heavyweight. So like it's just I don't know, man. I don't see that fight as being good. Just because like the heavyweight.
And since 2000 and because he beat 2018 was when he beat Volkov, and it was my balls were hot.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so. It's been a minute.
And then he lost to Cormier. He beat Dos Santos. I don't know what he did against Ivanov. And then beat Latifi. And then beat Olenek by a knockout. And then Blades gone. But he's fought like top level guys.
Yeah, like that was when he got up there he was fighting. Like that was the last time he looked good, but then he hasn't looked good in a while.
That's why he's fighting fucking.
Yeah, I mean that's why he's number 11. That's why he's fighting 40-year-old Rogerio de Lima. That's why it's a mess. That I think so. Like that fight is probably one that I'm just not interested in. As I don't think it'll be high quality. I could be wrong, but I don't think it'll be high quality. The fight before that, though, the middleweight bout with Claudio Ribeiro, he's the capoeira fighter, so like the dance fighting.
Yeah.
That's going to be... I've been talking about him for a while.
Yeah, I remember you.
Because like he keeps getting like off of cards. This is going to be him and Michel Pereira being on the same card is nuts. They're two very, very flashy, stylistic fighters that should make for really entertaining viewing. I even like Jake Matthews in that fight. I don't see odds for it, but that one I think could be a good bet. Then I like CJ Vergara too. If we're going early prelims, I like Matthew Semmelsberger. I've talked about him on the podcast before.
Oh yeah.
And then like Miranda Maverick.
We're big Semmelsberger fans here.
Yeah, like I still think he got robbed. I think he put that guy away. I thought he put Wells away.
We talked about length in the last one, right? Where Semmelsberger got robbed. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think Semmelsberger is a very good fighter. I think that he should have won against Wells. But I thought he put him away. That was the one where I was like he gassed himself trying to get the finish, and the ref just would not call it. It's ridiculous. Interesting. I'm curious on who that ref was for that fight. I wonder. Let me see if I can find it. So this is Pavlovich Blades. Because I wonder if it's Herzog. Because Herzog was the one that stopped. We talked about the fight, like whether or not it was an early stoppage. Herzog stepped in at the end of the round, and like I think I remember because it was so close to the end of the round, the commentary was different. They were saying like, oh, this fight should be because it was so close to the end of the round, that's why it didn't go that way. But let me see if I can find. Oh my god, dude, I want the scorecards. Why is that hard to find? I don't care. Tell me who the fucking referee was. Let's see. That's the problem with like these UFC Vegas events. Like they don't. Oh, because I didn't write official scorecard. That's my fault. I didn't do my math. I didn't.
Even that women's fight should be a good fight.
The women's fight? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Gashera, she lost to Shevchenko, her first fight, and then lost to Molly McCann. And then she lost her first three fights.
But still considered a favorite against Maverick, which I think is disrespectful to Maverick, but neither here nor there.
Well, Maverick is a huge underdog.
Yeah, that's what I think is disrespectful. It wasn't Jason Herzog, but this I think was the card where Jason Herzog was like a.
Oh no, Maverick's a huge favorite.
Favorite?
Huge favorite, yeah. She's minus 335 too.
Oh, it was minus? I thought it said plus.
No, she's Gashera is Cachoeira. I don't say that right, but it's plus 260.
Oh yeah, I completely read that wrong. I don't know why. Yeah, okay. Miranda Maverick's the favorite there. I thought she was a plus 335 dog, and I was like, that's.
Yeah, but the house.
Wildly disrespectful.
But the house, bro.
Well, I bet the house and both kids.
Oh.
No, but I think on paper this is a great card. I genuinely am curious to see how if I were to make a bold prediction, my bold prediction is that grapplers will do better than strikers on this card. Because I think there's opportunities for you to catch your breath when you're in a wrestling position.
Yeah. If you're not.
So I think people who are more experienced with takedowns, like if I were to put money on this, which I'm not going to, I would put money on people who are submission specialists.
Oh, yeah?
So like where there is, but what's weird is a lot of the guys on here are knockout guys. So like it seems like it's almost a bad location for this particular fight. Like almost every single one of these fighters is a knockout guy, with the exception of Rogerio de Lima, who's like literally just laying prey.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Gabriel Bonfim coming in at a plus 260 against Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles does have finishes on the ground, but Gabriel Bonfim is very good on the ground. That might be a sneaky bet if I were to throw one out there.
Oh, plus 260?
Yep. I don't hate those odds, and what I think will be, I would if I was putting money on it, I would put money on the grapplers. I also like Michael Chiesa at plus 125, dude. Like we've seen, Kevin Holland has no ground game, and Chiesa has a ground game.
And Chiesa's 5 or something. He's number 12. He's ranked.
Yeah. I think that is, again, a weird thing to put on there. There's not that, like... But you look at Wonder Boy and Pajeda, they're going to be on their feet. But then, like, literally almost every fighter on here is a striker who's going to look for KOs.
Yeah.
This is not a grappler-heavy card, but that's why, like, I think Maverick's got a huge advantage because she's just a monster on the ground. And then who she's going against is a knockout specialist. But again, I think throwing that many strikes at that elevation, I would go heavy on grapplers. I want to come back and circle back to this when we record the following week, and I want to see, like, if I were to make a prediction, and this is going to be crazy, if Ferguson were to win, so if we look at the people who I see as, like, wrestlers with a chance, right? I want to see what the record for Ferguson is. I think he's going to get knocked out because he's just not wrestling anymore. But, like, if I were to label people who are predominantly that style, Ferguson, Chiesa, Bonfim, and Rogerio de Lima. So out of those 4 fighters, and then Cachoeira, out of those 5 fighters, I'm curious to see what the overall record would be. And almost every single one of them is the dog.
They all get knocked out.
So yeah, they all get knocked out in round 1 because no one wants to go to the ground. They're gonna be desperately seeking that sea level, dude. They're gonna get down and dirty. They're trying to get closer to sea level. That's a fact. The air's good down there. The air's good down there. All right, well, that takes us to an extremely long episode, but hopefully that makes up for the last one, which was my fault because I forgot to hit the record button and we talked for like 2 fucking hours and I didn't record. So, whoops. So hopefully this makes up for it with an extra long session. Don't forget that Ryan dropped the D and the T, so he's officially began his transition. So make sure that we show support in the comment section, show him some love, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, peace.